I'm not saying it's going to happen, but like in the Big Ten, if you look at that bracket, could Harper and Bailey show up and put up
Yeah, they could.
a win and then all of a sudden like go on a mini run and at least you're sitting there saying, well, you never know because they're on the side of the bracket where they're going to get Purdue if they win. Like Purdue's good. They're a really good team. Really good. Are they unbeatable? Spotting the sleepers is a lot of fun. I mean, the fact that we could get um, Wisconsin and UCLA in the Big Ten quarters. You kidding me? I mean that the semis of that tournament could be incredible with Michigan State and either UCLA or Wisconsin, and then the potential for Maryland, Michigan. I really like Maryland's draw in the Big Ten, like really like their bracket. I think Kevin Willard and his team they've lost one game in the last like 4 weeks, and it was at the buzzer on a half court shot or beyond a half court shot. So that's this week. I mean, look at the SEC. I don't know if we've ever
Just
seen
real
a
before you go on,
like
real quick
this.
on the Big Ten. One thing that I've thought about recently, right, is part of the reason the Big Ten's been on this title drought is they implemented a tournament and then they decided to play their championship game on the Sunday, right, leading into Selection Sunday. They literally have the last game that you can play before Selection Sunday, which means that quite often their best team has to travel back from Indianapolis home, and then you have to travel where you're going for the NCAA tournament on Monday, and sometimes you're playing that game as early as a Thursday. You don't think that has any coming off of playing 3 games in 3 days, 4 games in four
I don't
days?
think conference tournament champions do great in the NCAA tournament for the majority of the case period. So, but like that's two teams that were in the championship game. Okay, but this happens. Teams that play on Saturday sometimes look worn out Thursday or Friday. That's not a whole reason for why a conference has had a quarter century drought.
Mhm. Yeah, that's probably fair. Well, while we're on the Big Ten, the tournament.
I don't think it's such a big deal. I just never really considered it. Like the only reason that you would be tired is if your coach kills you like my coach did. Like absolutely just
You're just
crushes
letting
you.
the demons out today. I love it.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, Oliver crushed us. I'll never forget. Like we were exhausted. We were up like 20 points on Villanova, and then they came back because we had no legs left. That's when you look tired. It's if your coach gets if your coach absolutely freaking panics,
Mhm.
and then just practice you through the dirt. I, but think about what you're saying. Okay, so you say these teams play 3 games in 3 days. Okay, then but throughout the course of the season, there's a lot of Saturday, Monday games.
Mhm.
Teams don't really look all that worn out. Like I don't. That's a 3 day layoff there. The coaches are tired because the coaches are like scrambling to get film and scrambling to prepare and doing all those things. The coaches are tired. I wouldn't say that the players are lethargic unless their coach kills them, which in
Yep.
which case happens more than you would think because they get nervous.
Yep. To, we're gonna clear out here for a second. Okay. Me and Fan are gonna lay out. I'm gonna give you the floor.
Okay.
You have 90 seconds. Back in October, you put together a list of teams, ranking those teams in the Big Ten. And when you rank those teams in the Big Ten, you had Michigan State as the best team in the Big Ten. And a lot of people, I think myself included, Phantom might have taken a couple of jabs at you. A lot of people had jokes. A lot of people questioned how much ball you know. A lot of people questioned your sanity. A lot of people question whether or not alcoholism is currently running through the Oglesby household.
It's
And
not. It's
it's
not.
not. It's not. And lo and behold, Michigan State goes out and wins the Big Ten by 3 entire games.
That's nuts.
Floor is yours. Go ahead. Say what you got to say.
You're welcome, world. It wasn't just me though. It was Vegas was on there too, right? Vegas was on that mix, if I remember correctly. It was like Vegas, UCLA. I had part that hurts me the worst is I had Michigan up there high too. Who Michigan ends up finishing third in the league, and I had a bunch of people talk me out of it. I think I had like Michigan State 1-2, and they ended up 1-3. No, I look. Izzo's back. They were pissed. They play with an edge. And, the evolution of Jason Richardson's been the one to watch. It's been fun. He kind of gives them a guy who can take the lid off, because they'll still go through droughts, but they finally have a guy that sees a hoop, and shot making is contagious. So it kind of changes the dynamic of their game. I actually picked Michigan State for some of the wrong reasons, like some of the ones that, like, Xavier Booker just didn't pan out like I thought he would. But like at the same time, like we know what Izzo is. So there's some coaches you don't bank on to have 2 bad years in a row, and Tom Izzo's in the mix.
Yep. Where do they stand? I want both of you guys to take on this, because I watch them right now. T, I'll go to you first. I watch them right now, and I'm like, I don't know if there's a team in college basketball playing better than them right now outside of Duke, right? Like, I don't want to see Michigan State in the NCAA tournament. If you're a 7 seed and you draw them, like, let's say you're the 1 seed and Michigan State is the 2 seed that you end up getting. That's kind of terrifying to me, with how well they're playing, how physical they are, the fact that Jace Richardson has taken the leap here. I feel like they are. I don't know if I'd put them in the same tier as Auburn and Duke, but they're not that much far behind Houston, Florida, Alabama. I think they're right there with those 3 teams. Is that crazy?
I think they're in the same tier with. You could throw them in with Houston, kind of like their mentality and what they do defensively and how they approach their game. I don't know what Houston is offensively on KenPom, but
10th. 10th.
Yeah, you could throw them in that mix. They're close. I think that's where you're at. Now, they don't shoot it very well. That's every now and then in the NCAA tournament, you got to hit shots. Conference play, they shot 32% for the whole season. They're at 30. Like, eventually you got to hit shots, especially in today's game, but they're not a team that's going to get upset. I say that, but they're going to beat the ever-loving breaks off of anybody who's, say a low Division I team wins a first-round game. They got to play them. I don't think they would get upset, because they're just not going to – they're going to take away their will to live. But, do I think they're scary? Yes. Do I win the national champion? Do they win a national championship? No, but it's going to be fun to watch.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68. Bet insurance tokens, odds boosts, and what I love, a nice parlay boost or two here or there. Be sure to keep your eye out in the app for the Field of 68 specials that we'll be running throughout the season as well. So go download the BetMGM app to sign up today. College basketball fans, are you ready to take your hoops game to a new level? Whether you're a seasoned bettor or just trying to win your March Madness office pool, Rhythm is here to give you the edge this season. With data-driven predictions for every single college basketball game left on the schedule, Rhythm helps you maximize your bets. And as March Madness kicks off, Rhythm's insights will help you spot those plucky Cinderellas that you know are going to shake up the NCAA tournament. But that's not all. When Selection Sunday rolls around, let Rhythm's AI-powered bracket generator do the heavy lifting for you. This is the same AI tool that performed 35% better than the average ESPN bracket last year. And here's the best part. Rhythm pairs perfectly with our Field of 68 expert analysis, giving you the 1-2 punch that you need for the rest of the college basketball season. So don't wait. Download Rhythm today and get ready to see college basketball and your betting results in a whole new light. Now is your chance to prove you're smarter than the Field of 68. We're hosting a Survivor contest with our partner Splash Sports. There's a $25 entry fee, a 25 entry max in the contest, and more than 1,700 spots available, which means there's a $40,000 max prize for the winner. Survivor is the future of March Madness. Each day you pick a team to win. If they win, you advance. We'll also be running a free-to-enter bracket contest as well as a second chance Survivor in the Sweet 16. So prove you know more ball than the Field of 68 on Splash Sports.
Well, you just think about this program, and what Tom Izzo's doing is a top 5 job in his career. It really is. And the way that they guard, the way that they rebound the basketball, the way they do the little things is of the utmost, just of the utmost care. They're so engaged on every possession. They were up 20-6 yesterday, and they interviewed Tom in game, and he's not happy with his team. But the teams responded to that. I thought in recent years he didn't have the players to respond to that mentality. And he voiced his frustration from time to time. But I think the biggest thing for them is that you walked into the year, and Terrence, I think it's one of your best calls ever that you said they'd be at the top, because you're wondering who's going to be the alpha. But it didn't mean that there weren't candidates. For them, the sum is greater than the parts. They've formed a team that truly is one. Like, yeah, not to be cliche or Disney here, but this is a when coaches say we got a lot of depth this time of year, I sometimes roll my eyes because I'm like, yeah, but you're going to use the same five for the last 10 minutes any of these big games.
Yeah.
Tom can play around. He's got the options to do it. And Jace Richardson is the single biggest reason why, from a player standpoint, this team has gotten to the heights it's reached, because of the way that he has shot the basketball in recent weeks. He didn't even shoot it well yesterday against Michigan, but he had a combined 34 in the wins over Iowa and Wisconsin. And he just gives them a dimension that they didn't have, that they did not have. So, I mean, I think that's or actually, I'm looking at Akins. He did shoot it well yesterday against Michigan. He had 18 points. He had 6 of 10 from the floor, and he had 22 against Iowa. Look at since February 8th for this kid. He's been in double figures every game. He had that 29-point showing against Oregon. He's got 3 20-plus point games. Like that's a freshman who has figured out what he needs to do to be successful. So now you have two guys who can take on that role of shot maker, Richardson being the main one. Akins he's not a perimeter shot maker. The percentages show, but he still has it in him. And guys, Jackson Kohler's gotten a lot better. I asked Michigan State people, did you see this? They're like, well, he's always worked hard, but you didn't. You got to certain points where you're like, are we actually going to see it in games? We've seen it. It's one of the best stories in the sport. This guy in year 30 is still able to execute what he wants to execute at a high level in a deep Big Ten. Big Ten's got a lot of unique playing styles, especially with the Western teams coming in this year. And here he is at the top of the league. And they had to go to Maryland. Huge game. Doesn't it feel like destiny when you hit that buzzer beater game winner shot of what can happen for you in March and April? What would it mean? We talk about like stories. As much as Cooper Flagg of Duke making the Final Four would be incredible, as much as St. John's and Rick Pitino finding a way to that would be unbelievable, Tom Izzo making the Final Four in his 30th year of coaching, where we're wondering, how much longer? Does he want to go out on top? It's real. Stories are real. Would be simply incredible and magical all at the same time. And this team, they might not look like it, but they can do it. They can win. They can beat anybody. They're playing as well as anybody. I agree.